Yes, people. Good morning. Match review time at the Albert JTV household. Everton won the Toffees, Arsenal nil. But we'll get into it, people. But before we get into it, let's smash the intro. Footballing community, you should know what to do by now. Like, share, and subscribe. Welcome back to Albert JTV. A social media platform. Know what you're talking about. And what I mean by that is goals, ESR and Saka have done well. They've done okay. They've done well. Yes, people, welcome back to Albert JTV for another match review on this Sunday morning. Me and Ray are having our regular show on a Sunday. Listen, try and get some endorsements and, maybe who knows, but no, I'm really joking. But people, good morning, man. Smash the like button and subscribe to Albert JTV. We're live on Facebook. We're live on the Twitter feed. And of course, we're live on YouTube. So people, you know what to do. Get them algorithms up. So yeah, people, Arsenal suffered their second league defeat of the season. As I said to a lot of people, big up to Everton Rose for having me on for a match preview. Dropped her a message, said, look, fair play. Got the victory. I actually missed the game because I just could not get away from work, unfortunately, but it happens. It happens as us as Arsenal fans. We can't always commit to watching the games. But yeah, before we get into it, I want to introduce my brother from another mother, the fantastic Ray Kasim. Ray, welcome back, bro.
Thank you very much, Albert. Yeah, like you say, it was a really frustrating day. Everton played really well. We will obviously cover it. That's hence why we're here. But yeah, let's talk through it. Bit of therapy, and it isn't the end of the world. So still, plenty more football to play. So let's do it.
Yeah, you know what? You mentioned the key word about talking about it not being the end of the world. I mean, obviously, I didn't see the game, so I went by obviously the usual reaction on the socials, and I thought, you know what, I need to see this game. So obviously, because I missed the game, they showed the highlights again this morning. It's already been a long morning, as I said to Ray before we went live. I think it showed about 6:30, but I watched it. But yeah, Ray, coming straight to you, man. One thing I noticed with Everton's lineup, if you look at their midfield three, I think that was probably an indication of how the game would go if we didn't know already. So what was your thoughts about the Everton lineup and going into the game?
Yeah, I mean, it was a traditional Sean Dyche 11, really, wasn't it, for his first game? Even in the tunnel, you saw, they're all giants in
big
there.
Big side, yeah.
They were going to make it physical and empowering, and they really had to dominate the midfield, which they've done. They had the likes of Onana, Decore, I believe, and Idrissa Gueye in there as well, who's able just to mop up everything. And they really put it on us. And yesterday, we just, for whatever reason, we just couldn't live with it. They were a lot better than us. They won, every first ball, and there's always somebody there in and around to mop up the second balls. And it was, like I say, Sean Dyche's first game. The players were obviously highly motivated to put in a performance. The crowd were highly motivated. You get games like this in a season. It is frustrating, but like I say, it's there are some positives, I believe, to take out of this one.
Yeah, listen, I mean, I think what surprised me, and I messaged you because obviously I didn't see the game, so I just wanted to get a sort of a brief synopsis of what so many Arsenal fans thought and saw of the performance. And I kind of gauged from you, and I think we kind of had this conversation saying that and obviously I've seen the game now, so I can obviously give a bit more of a better view. But I mean, it almost felt like for me, I don't know if you agree. I'm going to come back to you, like, even before the so-called the new manager bounce talk, right? Our record's not that great there. I think even a lot of people I spoke to, like a few weeks before the fixture, were like, Arsenal playing well, and it's a different Arsenal when we're starting games well, and our away form's even as good as our home form. But yeah, Everton away, I'm not sure. But even I was a bit confident in terms of prediction. I went 2-1. I didn't say it boldly or stick my chest out and said, look, I think Arsenal would nick it 2-1. But then I got to be honest, around the morning of the game, I was like, you know what? I'm not sure, you know. And I actually said to Everton Rose on the preview on her channel, I said, I think Arsenal nick it 2-1, but I actually wouldn't be surprised if Everton do a number on us. And unfortunately for us, that's the way the game went. But I almost got the impression, Ray, sort of when I watched Arsenal in that first half, especially, and particularly the first 20, 25 minutes, is they looked surprised that Everton were, you know, as on the front foot and as bullish as they were. Did you feel the same, or did you see something different?
Yeah, I think so. We kind of looked half cooked in that first half. We were just going through the motions a little bit.
Yeah.
And you get games like that, don't you, in the season? But you need to have the character and to be able to respond to what Everton did do. Like I said earlier, they absolutely dominated that midfield. They made sure they got the balls up to Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and then they had the likes of Dwight McNeil and Iwobi in and around him to win those second balls. So yeah, it was a tough game. I don't know if Thomas Partey looked like he was
didn't look
fully fit.
Yeah, he didn't look ready.
Again, I'm not making any excuses. They were the better side, and it is what it is. You take it on the chin. But I don't think he looked 100%. And I just think we had maybe 5 or 6 players that just had 5 out of 10s or belows, you know. And when you have almost half your team that aren't on it against a side that are completely on it, you're always going to struggle, aren't you?
Yeah. Now, you make a good point. Obviously, Everton are in an awful position. I think before yesterday, they scored the second fewest goals in the league behind Wolves. I think they had 15. I don't think they said they hadn't won, was it, since the 22nd of October?
Yeah.
But I think, I mean, we managed to miss the new manager bounce when we played Wolves because Lopetegui took over, but he hadn't officially taken over. But this couldn't have happened. This couldn't have happened. This was kind of typical, and you know, Sean Dyche first game, as you mentioned, with the midfield three in particular, very, very physically imposing, very dominant, great, you know, a lot of legs in the midfield area. And I was in sort of the first 20, 25 minutes. I thought what they did well, especially, is they pressurized our centre backs a lot in terms of not getting time on the ball. I thought Dwight McNeil and he was on the side of the pitch, and Coleman, did a good job in regards to Martinelli and Saka, and obviously Mikalenko and Iwobi on the other side. We didn't really, there wasn't really anything that we kind of did well in, for me, in that first 20, 25 minutes. I think the only thing you could probably, not even slightly positive, but defensively, they put us under a lot of problems, Ray, like free kicks wise, corners wise. They gave us a lot of issues, man. But yeah, what did you think? What did you think in terms of Arsenal, in terms of the first half, especially the first 20, 25 minutes? What was you disappointed with the most? Although we give credit to Everton.
Just matching them really for work rate and intensity. You know, like I say, it kind of looked like we just got out of bed and then started playing. And like I say, they were highly motivated. They want to impress the new manager now that's there. I was gutted actually when Frank Lampard did get sacked and Sean Dyche come in, because that is a really astute appointment, isn't it?
Yeah.
And yeah, like I say, we just look half cooked. I think at times we done okay, and I think certainly Gabriel had a very good game, I thought.
Yeah, he did. He did.
And was a match for Calvert-Lewin and really stood up to that physical challenge. But I think the rest of the players, like I say, we just weren't really at it. And that was disappointing, considering the run we've been on. I know the Man City game we lost, and there were positives to take from it. However, we don't want to now have that as a bad habit of losing a few games like we did last season. So as long as we can, try and bounce back, and like I say, we show levels of intensity that we didn't show within that 25 minutes, I think we should be okay moving forward. But it was disappointing.
Yeah, Everton, like I said, they was really, really on it, which I wasn't surprised to see. It seemed like it's a surprise to some of our Arsenal players, which I don't know. Yeah, I don't really understand why that was, considering, I mean, Arteta played there for 6 years, so he would have told them what it's going to be like. Obviously, in the new manager bounce, but yeah, Arsenal again. I think for me at times, I don't know. Again, I don't know what you think, Ray. In particular with Thomas Partey, by the way, yes, he's important. Yes, he's influential. People talk about wrapping him up in cotton wool. Yes, maybe he wasn't ready, fully going into that game yesterday, but he is important to us. But what I see, I think Arsenal were guilty of it in the first half, but particularly with him, as good as he is, Ray, he's very, very loose in possession sometimes, man. And he unnecessarily puts us under pressure. And it happened again yesterday on a few occasions. Is that why is that? Why is that? I didn't personally see that when he's Atletico, but yeah, it just at times it's very careless in possession, man. And even though Everton has some good chances, man. That's some really good chances.
Yeah, they did.
Calvert-Lewin twice, and I think Doucouré had a chance as well. But yeah, I didn't really understand, like, the intensity wise, which was disappointing. I see some Arsenal fans say it who was actually at the game and saw a few fan cams from people that went there, and they just said, yeah, the intensity was missing. So, do you think it's fortunate to go in at halftime 0-0 then?
I think so. I think that Doucouré chance you mentioned, he should have buried, and maybe, I don't know, maybe a confident player in form, because I don't think Doucouré's hardly featured for Everton this season under Lampard. So maybe a more confident player buries that. As you mentioned as well, Calvert-Lewin had a chance. We did have that chance through Nketiah, didn't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
And rash.
Well, the first part was amazing in terms of making that space for yourself and creating that chance. But the actual shot itself was dreadful. It was straight into the Everton fans, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know, minimum you need to be making Jordan Pickford making a good save. And if it's on target and he parries it with power, who knows where it could end up if it doesn't end up in the back of the net.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I did think we were a little bit... Well, actually, no. I thought we were very fortunate not to be at least 1-0 down at half-time. And, yeah, I was really hoping we would see a reaction. I'm sure Arteta would have gone in that dressing room and put a rocket up him. And we, I'm sure he would have been angry with that performance. But, yeah, it is annoying to see the reaction. And, yeah, Thomas Partey is a quality player. There's, he's one of our most important players, of course he is, but you're right, sometimes his passing is a bit rash.
Yeah,
I remember in the North London derby in particular. I just remember him, passing, to empty spaces and to the opposition at times. And he's, he does do that in games. So he needs to fix up.
Yeah, he does.
But, maybe as a team, we need to make sure he has got the options available to pass to, if that makes sense. Because Everton done a very good job, like I said, just dominating that midfield and making sure that our passing lanes and our options were all closed.
Yeah, hence the reason why Ødegaard was quiet again, coming from criticism from the social media brigade again, which is not a surprise because that is how it is with him, unfortunately. That's how he's judged upon. But yeah, you know what? It's mad because I look at the first half and yeah, we was very fortunate not to go in behind at halftime. But also, like you mentioned, we had a couple of good chances, man. The first one, obviously, with Eddie, just rash, man. Just when you go into these games away from home, man, and it started out it started out as it did for the first 25, 30 minutes. You get a chance like that, you got to at least hit the target. And obviously, we had the chance with Saka, which was going in, but got cleared off the line by Connor Cody.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, it was a really good chance. Yeah.
Yeah, go on, come in, Ray. Sorry, mate.
Oh, sorry, mate. I was just going to say, if we go 1-0 up as well, I feel that just completely changes the dynamic of the game.
Yeah.
This game in particular, with the fans being protesting against the owners and there being such unrest. I know I mentioned that they gave their team and their new manager incredible support, but you feel like if they're under the cosh and they're trailing, especially in a game that they probably dominated for that first half, it could have completely changed the tide of the game.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was a game that whoever scored first really, I think, was always ever going to win that game, in my opinion. So I
Yeah,
was saying.
yeah, no, you touched upon it, but yeah, the second half, I actually thought we started it quite brightly. Actually, I don't know what you thought. I've got obviously people in the chat and people watching this live on Facebook and Twitter. I just thought we started it a little bit more brightly and we had a little bit more control. I thought Everton's intensity dropped off, but I didn't. That wasn't a surprise to me because you put in that first 45 minutes. That's bound to happen. Arsenal are a good side. They do play good possession football. They do keep the ball well when they do control it well and don't give away the ball needlessly. But yeah, we started off pretty well. And you're right. I thought this rate even about 20 minutes in. Like, it's one of them games where if the team gets the first goal, it's going to be very difficult for the opponents to get back in the game. I thought that's quite clear after about 20 minutes. And the way it was going, and Arsenal didn't play that great in the first half, even though we had a couple of chances. But like I said, second half we started better. Was you impressed with the start of the first 15 minutes?
Yeah, I was. I think you nailed it there. It was controlled, wasn't it? Up until their corner, I don't think they had very many clear-cut chances off the top of my head. And yeah, we just looked like we were just trying to take the sting out of the game a little bit, grow into it. We always had to be patient. Normally we start off quite fast in games, and this time that wasn't the case. So it was always, we always had to be patient. But yeah, I thought for up until the goal, up until the corner, I thought we'd done well. We didn't allow them to get the ball in the box too many times for Calvert-Lewin. We did sort of restrict their access in that respect. But yeah, it was still, I don't think we were necessarily attacking. I just think we were just defending well up until the corner we conceded.
Yeah, it's a shame because, like I said, we came out the first 15 minutes. I thought we came out pretty well in that second half. We had the Ødegaard chance with it. I think Eddie's done some good work on their right hand side. Yeah, he's got to hit the target, man. Has to hit the target. Yeah. 0-0, as you mentioned before, you get 1-0 up in these games away from home at a ground that we're not notoriously very good at. Completely different complexion of the game. We then control it. Like I said, Everton haven't won in a long time. They don't score many goals.
Yeah.
Then it builds up, and on top of that, you get the goal, you silence the crowd.
Yeah, of course you do. Yeah, it was a really good move. It was a really good move actually from Eddie, wasn't it? Looked like he was going nowhere and just in that corner, and somehow managed to escape and put that ball across. And Ødegaard needs to be hitting the target minimum. I don't think we made Jordan Pickford work anywhere near enough.
Well said. Yeah, because if you're right. I mean, I saw the. I'm going to come to. I did see like the brief stats in terms of the overall the game. If I can find it. And when I watched the game, I thought to myself, Arsenal really had 15 shots a goal. Like I just don't. I watched that game. I was thinking to myself, really? And then you make the point, like we had 3 on target.
Yeah.
All the listeners have got an image of the stats on the screen. If you wonder what's going on, Everton Knockers had 7 corners. They had a lot of corners.
Yeah.
And we did deal with it quite well until obviously we made a few substitutions just before the goal. Obviously, I think Partey and Martinelli came off and Trossard and Jorginho came on. From the goal, right? This is my own personal opinion. You can talk about Everton being a physically opposing side and they've got height and whatever. For me, Ødegaard's got to make that his. He has to make that his. You've got to throw yourself at the ball. You see it coming in your direction. I just think he got eased off it way too easily. And I think it's preventable, personally. I don't know what you think. Maybe you might have thought different.
Yeah, I mean, I think most goals from set pieces are mostly preventable. I don't know what Ødegaard was doing. And if you're going to mark him, you have to be clever. You're not obviously going to be, you're not his height. You're not as physical as him. So you need to try and put him off. Obviously, don't foul him, but you need to, get your body in the way. And if he's going to head that ball, he's got to go through you. You say, he's got to get himself in the way.
Yeah, take him out. Take it. Yeah.
If he puts his head through it, he's got to put the head through the back of yours. And then we get the foul. you'll obviously take a hard knock, but you have to do that in these kind of games. So it was really disappointing that, like you said, they had so many corners. I think there was 7. I think you said they had.
Yeah, Ray, just to come in quickly. Sorry. Yeah, you make a good point. You know why? Because I'm thinking, I probably might even watch the highlights again, man, somewhere. Because now, you know why I say that? Because whether Arsenal would do, I don't know what the instructions are in terms of when it comes to set pieces and corners, whether it's man to man or spaces or zone or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You would ask yourself, really, out of the Arsenal players in that team, the biggest threats for Everton, right?
Mm-hmm.
They got high anyway. Like, but in terms of the centre backs, will be Tarkowski, Cody, and obviously Anana and Calvert-Lewin. I wouldn't want Martin Odegaard picking up any of them players in the box.
No.
So
no,
I would have to look. I would have to look at the corners before that and see who was marking Tarkowski and who was marking who and which. Because to me, I look at the Arsenal, but I think, well, he shouldn't be picking. He should not be even be in that position picking up Tarkowski. Mm-hmm. Absolutely not. And even if he is going to be in that position, like I said, he's got to throw himself at that, man. And that goal is preventable, trust me. But as you mentioned before, with set pieces, it can happen. But I think with the problem with that goal going in, Ray, like it sets up the tone for the rest of the match, and then Everton have got something to hold on to. The crowd are buoyant. And you make a good point in regards to, again, if you look at actually the amount of times Jordan Pickford actually got worked, there weren't really
hardly ever, really, was it?
There wasn't. There was the Trossard shot that he parried. Xhaka had a shot that got blocked by the defenders. There was like blocks here and there, but there wasn't really any clear-cut chances. But yeah, it like I said, having watched the game, yes, Arsenal were off it, and I can see why that result happened the way it happened yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I know Arsenal would. I know. I listened to some of the Arsenal fans. They were disappointed in regards to they thought these kind of days had gone in terms of. I think what they kind of meant was in terms of not coming to these grounds and having that kind of result. And obviously we go back to last season where we lost that game at Goodison Park.
Yeah, we're used to seeing that like once a month, aren't we? So yeah, to see that come back, you do get games like this. It is frustrating, to play 38 games in the league and be absolutely flawless in every single game. It's just not going to happen. We have had games where we've struggled. I think of Southampton and Leeds in particular away. I know we lost the game at Old Trafford, but again, I thought we had some really good moments in that. But yeah, it is really frustrating. I do think as well, and I'll credit Arteta when he's done well because he's been brilliant. Another manager of the month. Maybe that was another curse as well, along with the membership bounce. Just double negative. But I feel like we should have. I feel like his changes were just like for like, and that the players come in were just replacing the players that went off. I don't think the players that went off had good games. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think the system or we asked any more questions tactically of Everton, and they were just able to play in their block. Get players behind the ball, dominate and compact the midfield, and there was no real other options or questions really asked, which was disappointing to see.
Ray, you touched on a fantastic point. I just, you beat me to it. It's the perfect, Ray. We're in synergy, bro.
In sync.
Yeah. So you make a good point actually, because this has been talked about. People have dropped it in the chat in terms of the substitutions. I've seen it flying around on social media, and the rest of it, and in the 10,000 other group chats I'm in WhatsApp. It's been loads to talk about Arsenal. It is a fair and plausible point, and I say that because not just the game yesterday, not because we lost. Let me make that very, very clear. If you look at some of the substitutions we've made in other games, they are like for like. What I would like to see him do. So, for example, you're losing the game 1-0 away to Everton. Mm-hmm. You're chasing the game, and you're bringing a right back for a right back.
Yeah.
Now that's fine if you've got a fullback like a Cafu or a, dare I say it, Ivan Fresneda. But as the example in that type of player, but it's different if you've got like two types of, like you've got a Trent who, like for example, a Trent who's got a brilliant attacking prowess going forward. But that I could understand it, but you're right in terms of the like for like. I would like to see him just change up a little bit, and yes, Erdegaard was a fantastic year, but keep him on and bring on Vieira as well, or take off Xhaka, or take off or keep Martinelli on and move him centrally with Eddie. Do something a little bit different instead of doing like for like. I don't know. Has he got that in him? Ray, to what the time you've seen him at Arsenal, and Arteta's been there over 3 years now, just to be a little bit more flexible, man.
I think he has, mate. I think he has. It's just the system that we're playing has been working, So there's the other side of the coin where if it's not broken, don't really fix it. But for this game, it wasn't working. I do wonder, could we have maybe gone to a back three and played wing backs at times?
And he's done, you're right. You're right. You're right. I've seen it spoken about a lot, and I think it is a fair point. I don't mean people just losing their minds and just saying all, but I think it's a plausible point because you have players. There are players there in the playing staff in terms of your first 11 or people you can bring on where you can tweak it and move Martinelli more central, or player two. Take Caviera and Erdegaard on for the same pitch for 15-20 minutes. What have we got to lose? If we concede a second goal, we concede a second goal.
Yeah, and we've got Trossard now, who's such a quality and versatile player that I believe he can play as a wing back or as a forward player. He can do that job. We could have potentially moved maybe Granit Xhaka off. Although he was very good, but he's a defensive player. We needed to score a goal. Maybe bring on Fabio Vieira. I know he's maybe physically not there, but we had to, like I say, just ask a different question of Everton. So it was very disappointing that Arteta didn't do that. But I'm sure he'll look at this. I'm sure he'll look at himself and his coaching staff, and I'm sure they'll have that in the locker if we're in that, which we will be in this scenario again, because I think that's the kind of blueprint at the moment to beat this current Arsenal system, isn't it? So we need to adapt as well as, and we need to look at potential changes and system changes within the game.
Yeah, right, 100% spot on, mate. I couldn't agree more. Like, you're right in terms of this second half of the season now. It's gonna get a little bit more tougher because teams will let us have the ball, and it was up to us to break down low blocks and to get in between the spaces, which was very difficult yesterday. Having watched that game back, I'm like, they particularly in the first one, they made it very, very difficult. I think the only period where we actually looked like we gained control was that first 15 minutes of the second half, but then we conceded in that first 15 minutes, which didn't help.
Yeah, so all that good work you do is then undone, isn't it?
Yeah. So you're right. The substitution thing. I hope going forward there is a bit more flexibility and a bit more of a throw the dice at it. Like I said, we're in a position where we're chasing the game. We need to get back in it. Yes, sometimes you don't sacrifice the players that. Yeah, like I said, Erdegaard's a prime example. Like, he didn't have a fantastic game yesterday, but he can produce that one moment of quality, and it can happen.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of had to Hail Mary it, didn't we? And I think we did to a degree at the end. You had Zinchenko taking some wild shots. From outside the box. Maybe if he's a bit more composed, at least he can get on target. But we had to try and change it. But we were just using the players that we already had on the pitch. We didn't change it and then bring on players or to accommodate that system. So. Yeah, all in all, it was just frustrating, wasn't it?
Yeah. No, you're right. Listen, you're right. Fair play to Everton, and particularly I thought Amadou Onana was fantastic. Wow. Some Arsenal fans, obviously, during the transfer window, were saying, look, he's the player that Arsenal should be looking at. Listen, he was excellent yesterday. Like, wow, great performance. But you're not going to keep you long, because it's Sunday morning, man. I want you to enjoy your Sunday and breakfast and Sunday roast later, whatever. But I was talking quickly about Jorginho, really. Like I said, it was a bit different in the sense that for me, because I missed the game. So, I mean, I saw some of the stuff that was in people's Instagram stories even. I'm like, Has this guy committed a crime? So I thought I need to watch the game and see what he's done that has really triggered a lot of people. And I don't think he was that bad. I mean, like I'm going to come to you. Like Arsenal weren't great yesterday, but I mean, I don't know what it is to some of our fans, man. Like they just, I get really annoyed when I hear, oh, it's passion, Ray, it's passion, and after the game. No, come on, man. Like you're dealing with grown adults here. Yes, we love Arsenal and to win every flipping game playing possible, but he weren't that bad, man. Like seriously, come on. Like, how do you think he did when he came on? Like, be honest.
Yeah, I thought he was all right. I don't think he'd done anything wrong. I don't think he'd done anything bad. I'll be honest. At that moment in time when the goal went in, I was like, typical. Jorginho comes on and we concede. But with a cool head, looking back on it, it's not his fault. As we mentioned earlier, we've got big physical players: Saliba, Gabriel, Xhaka. Other players I can't think off the top of my head, but Ben White possibly at that time. Players that could have marked Tarkowski a lot better than Ødegaard. But he's a player that's come from a direct rival, a big rival, but not what I mean. And I think obviously there is that stigma to him. I think if we signed him from a Bayern Munich or a Napoli or someone like that, I think no one would say anything. But listen, he's got to come in the side and he's got to help us, but it's going to take a little bit of time. I can't see him just coming straight in and working straight away. And like I say, he was just okay. If I marked him out of 10, it would be a 5 or a 6.
Yeah.
For the time that he got on the pitch. It's just, like I said, at that time the game wasn't going really in our favour. Everton were starting to put us under the cosh. And tactically, like I say, I just think we needed to do something a little bit different. And he is very much a system player, isn't he?
Yeah, nice. No, well said. Yeah, man, it's true. Yeah, it's like, because I thought to myself, this guy must have had a stinker when he came on, because I knew he came on as a sub. So I thought, okay, let me watch the game and see what this guy done that Arsenal fans are so disappointed and angry, and I'm like, come on, man, like get a grip, man, like come on, like it's not that deep, man.
Yeah.
Where I think it might come from, and obviously Jorginho is a reciprocant of that, is what we've done in the transfer window. And looking at other players, and he's also done this and that. But people, I have to remind you again, man. All us as Arsenal fans, the transfer window is done. What do you want us to do? We can go back another month. It's not going to happen. We're not in charge of the money. We're not in charge of the accounts. We're not in charge of the recruitment. Arsenal know what they needed to do. Arteta made it very, very clear in multiple press conferences, probably in the whole of January, what we needed. Arsenal have brought in 3 players. Left sided centre back, a wide forward, and a central midfield player.
All great options as well, aren't they? They're all great options.
Yeah, and I thought, I'd be honest, we're trying to sort of touching on the window that's gone now. I actually thought Arsenal would get 2 players in. The fact they got 3, and I was quite shocked, to be honest with you. But I think the way the window went, and Arsenal missing out on primary targets, which has been spoken about quite a bit, and I think going forward, Arsenal need to address that, particularly if they're going to win the league, because you can't have a situation, Ray, sort of going away from the game yesterday, where Arsenal win a league title, and yet you still can't get your number 1 target. Some serious questions would have to be asked, because that doesn't make that wouldn't make any sense to me. But go on, come in, Ray.
Yeah, no, I fully hear what you're saying. I mean, if I think back to this time last year where we didn't sign anyone, we only let players go. I was in the camp where I was saying we need to get, all right, don't get anyone, but we need to get somebody in of sufficient quality. And I feel like we have this year. Okay, it's not our first choices.
No.
We all know about that. We all know we've sort of got blown out the water financially in some instances. But we brought in these new players. They're all good options. They all help the squad. And yeah, let's we've got to be a little bit patient with them. I know there's no patience in football.
No, there isn't, Ray. We can't have any patience in football. Football fans, you have to demand right now.
Right now, yeah, no, I hear it, but let's be real. If you go to another company, if you're in your place of work and then you go to another company, even if you're doing the exact same job, but they're different people, different time you start, finish, whatever, blah blah blah, different rules, different cultures. You're going to take time to adjust, aren't you? And it's exactly the same with this. We've got 3 new guys, all look pretty promising and look like they can do a really good job for us. But we can't expect instant results, in my opinion. And it would be the same if we brought in the likes of Mudryks and Felix and all these other players. Yeah. They also would have the same. They'd also need the same time to adapt. But it's unfortunately you don't get that time in football, do you?
No, you don't. Ray, before we wrap up, I'm going to ask you one more thing. But before we do that, people, a little bit of an interval break. 2 secs, people. And there you go. We're back. But yeah, and it would help if I actually press the right thing, but it's all right, people. It happens. It's live stream. But got so many things in the StreamYard here. But yeah, Ray, we've got I'm sort of gonna break it down. So we obviously we have Brentford at home, we have Man City at home, and we have Villa away. Our next 3 fixtures. I think I should be right in saying that. I think that's right.
Yes, yeah, we have.
Yeah, so we've got some important games of football coming up, people. There's no time to dwell on the defeat yesterday. Yes, it's disappointing, the performance, and we want to go there and get results. So it didn't happen. We lost. We lost 2 games this season. The Premier League is this season. Some of the results, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I had Villa down yesterday for a home banker because Leicester have been awful since the World Cup.
Yeah.
But it turned up yesterday and he got in a derby game, Midlands derby, and they turned up. So going to Villa away, no disrespect to Everton, and I do mean that. I think going away to Villa is going to be tough. And when we play them,
it will be. I mean, we've got the narrative of
Emery,
of Emery, and as an Arsenal supporter, we haven't had. I don't think we've had many occasions at all in the last 30 odd years where we've had to play our former manager. So. There is that going on Villa very quickly. Watching that game yesterday, or seeing that game yesterday, reminded me of the late parts of Unai Emery, where it was very helter-skelter and it could have gone one way or the other. High scoring, very entertaining
good
for
game.
The neutral.
Yeah, good game. Yeah,
but there was just no control in it, and that's exactly how he was when he was in charge of us, which some people seem to forget.
Yeah,
but it will be a difficult game. They all will, and we just. I think the one take from this Everton game is the mindset and how we approach these games. Every game is a cup final, and we have to treat every game like it's our last almost. We can't just be passive, and we can't just turn up expecting the points, because now we're in the second half of the season. Teams have objectives. Teams need to stay up. Teams are going for Europe. All sorts of things are going on. Teams are going for titles and whatever else. And, now it's the business end, isn't it? And it's not just the business end for us. It's the business end for the other 19 clubs. So we just need to be on it. And, we just need to make sure that we don't show them levels drop, that they did yesterday.
No, Ray, good points, man. And Brentford at home is going to be tough. I was just looking at the table quickly, Ray. They unbeaten in 5 in the Premier League. Mm-hmm. Won 4 the last 5. It's actually tight last season at the Emirates when we played them. Actually, very tight game. Not going to be easy, man. So Arsenal need to bounce back very, very quickly. Touching on that Brentford game very quickly and the Man City game very quickly. What's your thoughts and feelings in terms of us getting positive results?
I think we can get positive results, certainly, but it's just, as you say, they're just going to be tough. I don't expect to blow too many teams away now, like I say, because teams are fighting for whatever they need to fight for. What we need to do is just stay with the team. If you go to the games and if you're in the stadium, just need to carry on what you're doing, because they've been excellent. And like I say, if you're watching the game from afar and you're on the socials, just have a bit of perspective. They're good teams we're playing now. As you mentioned, I think it was 2-0 and then Brentford scored in like the 80-something minute, and then it was a nervy stoppage time finish, wasn't it? So like I say, as long as we do what we can do, we control the game, we've got better players in Brentford, we should win that. But it just requires everyone to be at 100% and Mikel to get things right, tactically and whatnot. And I think we'll beat Brentford.
Ray, you said that very confidently. Listen, there's no easy games in Premier League. We know Brentford went to City and won away, so it's no easy games. But I think I listen, where we are in the league, Ray, momentum and winning important games of football. I'm gonna come to the chat quickly in a minute to see somebody popped up. But I think my YouTube wife turned up. Yes, she has turned up. I can see it. Flavor cheek, but I think we need to bounce back very quickly because we have a very important game after Brentford. People, we're playing a certain team from Manchester in Sky Blue. We're going to come to the Emirates day after Valentine's Day, people. So don't be late to the game. But no, Ray, listen, I'm going to be there at the Man City game. I won't be there for the Brentford game, but the City game I will be there. And obviously, if they're playing a certain team, say Man City, we'll see what the scoreline is going to be. Let me come to the chat quickly. There she is. Holly, good morning. Not so much, but I still love you, but I hate you as well. So it's all right. We'll talk. Trevs, my guy, man. Hope you're good, well, man. Trevs from the Guns Yellow Ribbons podcast. People go subscribe. Morning, lad. Just one game that happens. Needs to be behind the team in the Emirates next week. Trevs, couldn't have put it better myself, mate. Hope to see you soon. Hope to see you very, very soon. Here we go. Let's go to chat quickly again. We will not lose to see. I'm confident. Go on, Trev. You tell him, Trev. Come on, man. Go on, Hilsey. Holly, please beat City. Oh, God. Yeah, I know, Holly, listen. Before me and Ray go, I know how much you obviously love Arsenal being a Tottenham fan, but, I know it's a difficult game for you to say because obviously you want to win, but then you realize you're doing us a favor. So do I feel sorry for your predicament? Let me think about it. No. So go do your job.
It's a win-win. It's a win-win, Holly. If you're watching, you either go and you take points off City, and that benefits us. And if you drop points of City, well, then that's always sweet too. So it's a win-win.
Yeah, Holly, you're right. I've seen some of your fans say some wild stuff, man. That's your fan base. I'll leave you to it. But people in the chat, thank you for your amazing interaction on a Sunday morning because you're probably still eating your breakfast while watching this. But it is gratefully appreciated. And like I said, obliterate the like button on Twitter if you're watching, YouTube, and Facebook. So I appreciate it, people. Ray, my brother from another mother, thank you for coming on for our regular Sunday slot. Tell the people where they can find you, man.
Yeah, thanks again for having me, mate. And thanks again, people, for listening and watching. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's Ray_Kasim, just there. And let's talk football, and hopefully we can talk about either Man City losing a game, or we can enjoy some Spurs tears. It's either one. I'm down for.
Yeah, go on, Harry Kane. I didn't think I'd say that in the Premier League season.
The one time I wanted them to win was at the Etihad, right? I don't support them, but the one time I wanted them to win and they let me down. And if that's what it's like to support Spurs on a regular basis, then God help me.
Holly, I said to you, Holly, if you're watching, I know you are. I did say to you when I came on your channel a few weeks ago, the divorce papers, I'm expecting them in the post. in May, hopefully in May. But yeah, big up to the guys in the chat. Thank you, man. Much appreciated. That is me, your host, Albert JTV, over and out. I'll be back on Thursday for a special weekly surgery show, talking about transfers. So all will be revealed come Wednesday, probably. And like I said, another episode of Life Stories will be coming soon, but just need to sort out some calendar dates. And yes, it will happen. But people, thanks for your support as always. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Arsenal, we've got some big games of football, so no time to dwell, people. Stick with the team, and hopefully we'll get our first league title since 2004. But that is me, Albert JTV, over and out for another match review. See you soon, people.